Let's just see here. Let's see if this works. Check, check, 1, 2. Can y'all hear me now? Okay. I might just come through my laptop speakers here. Can you hear it? All right. Okay, awesome. So I had to literally just... How about now? Can y'all hear me now? Okay, so I should have this on all my scenes now, if y'all can still hear me okay. Alright, so, you hear it but twice. You hear it but twice. What about now? Okay. Lots of background noise. Yeah, I know. I had to just like turn it over to my laptop. I'm not sure why. I don't think my regular microphone's working. So, all right, we're gonna have to just deal with what we got here today. So, I do want to jump on and continue out this stream because it's gonna be an important one today. Whenever we do the actual live replay on my YouTube channel, maybe we can edit out the intro here. So let's just start back over from square one here. So yeah, sorry for the technical difficulties. We're about 6 minutes into the stream here, but hopefully we can edit this out after and we can watch the live replay. Anyways, so let's jump into this. So anyways, want to jump on the stream here and talk about this today. So we have a developer tied to the sanctioned crypto application Tornado Cash who has just been arrested in the Netherlands, okay? And this is a big deal because a lot of people out there wondering like, hey, you know, what does this mean for other blockchain developers or people who are writing crypto applications? You know, could you just get arrested for putting code out there on the blockchain, or does this person, is that actually why this person was arrested? Were there other things beyond this? So we're gonna look at that in this video today, talk about a lot of things that have happened in this space since yesterday. Again, we do these live streams Monday through Friday on this channel. Just subscribe, turn on notifications. You're gonna find out about those whenever we go live. We're trying to answer some of your questions and a whole lot more. So, you know, if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory. You know, on this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's what you're interested in, you know, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to learn how to master blockchain step by step, start to finish, then definitely head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp to start today. So, yeah, we got a bunch of people in the chat here. I won't go back through and try to welcome everybody who jumped in because that's a big long list now. There's a lot of people saying no sound, no sound, no sound. Finally got it worked out, but so let's jump into this. So yeah, so we just got a report come out that the Netherlands arrests a suspected Tornado Cash developer. So let's set the stage for this. So, you know, what is Tornado Cash? So this is an application, a Dapp that's built on top of the Ethereum platform that was just sanctioned, okay, within the past week or so. So by the U.S. Treasury. So what does that mean? So basically, Tornado Cash was a privacy solution for the Ethereum blockchain and other EVM-compatible chains. So basically, you know, whenever you're doing transactions on Ethereum, let's say you have a MetaMask wallet, you're sending cryptocurrency from one account to another, you know, you can see all the activity associated with any particular account, right? Like, you of course, your username on the blockchain is like your address, and that's, you know, most people won't necessarily know that's you. All right, it's sort of like a pseudonym in that way, but everything that's attached to that identity, whether people know it's you or not, all that information is public, okay? And of course, there's lots of ways where people could, who are very sophisticated, could potentially link your identity, your personal identity, back to your, you know, wallet address. Let's say you KYC'd on an exchange, or you gave them your identity documents to buy cryptocurrency that sent it to your wallet. Like, they're probably gonna know who it was you. So, anyways, that's where the privacy solution for Tornado Cash comes into play. Which basically makes that problem harder to solve. So what it is a technology called a mixer, where essentially lots of people send cryptocurrency to the same place and then from one address, and then either with the same address, probably not, but with a brand new address, you sort of get a claim ticket where you can withdraw your cryptocurrency from the application, and it's really hard to link your withdrawing address to your depositing address because so many different people were depositing, and when you withdraw from the other side with this proof, okay, like your claim ticket basically, it makes it really hard. Now, there are some sophisticated people out there who can get a pretty good guess as to who the withdrawing addresses were relative to the depositing addresses. We're talking about blockchain analytics companies and things like that. But anyways, that's what the application is. Now, within the past week or so, we saw it sanctioned by the U.S. Treasury. And since then, we've seen a slew of crazy things happen, right? Like, ever since the sanctions happened, we're starting to see USDC, the stablecoin, actually blacklist, addresses. Okay, we saw the Tornado Cash GitHub, like the place where they stored the open source code for the application, just wiped out. Like, we've seen developers who've contributed to Tornado Cash, like their profiles completely deleted. We've seen the Discord for Tornado Cash community and governance just gone instantly. Okay, just like there 1 second and then gone the next. And so now, one of the latest things we're seeing in this is that a developer who is a suspected Tornado Cash developer was arrested in the Netherlands. Okay, so let's jump into this. So, an unidentified 29-year-old developer who is suspected of being involved in the sanctioned Tornado Cash protocol was arrested in Amsterdam on Friday, according to a release by the Fiscal Information and Investigation Service. Okay, so basically, they began the investigation in June and said it hasn't ruled out making multiple arrests in the case. So Dutch prosecutors are investigating the matter on suspicions of fraud, environmental crime, and asset confiscation. All right, so said that the suspect will have spent 14 days in custody after being seen by an examining judge. Okay. They're giving extra attention to decentralized autonomous organizations that may facilitate money laundering. Okay. So, according to several users on Twitter, Discord channel of the Crypto Mixer has gone offline. The website has not been online since August 8th. So that is one report that I've seen. I've also seen another report floating around that was essentially saying that the developer was, arrested on the charges of also assisting money laundering, okay, and other illicit activity. So it really begs a question. Number one, we don't exactly even know who this is in the first place. And if this is a person who was actually a developer for Tornado Cash, okay, and exactly why this person is being arrested, okay, was it just because they wrote part of the code for this or all of the code for this? Is it because for some other reason, not just writing the code, but was there actually some sort of additional, an additional act here where there was direct, contribution to, assisting other people who were knowingly, laundering money. Okay, so that's where we don't have the details yet. We don't exactly know the true reason for this, arrest just yet. Okay, of course, whenever Tornado Cash was sanctioned by the U.S. Treasury, we got one of the big justifications is because it's a service that's been used by multiple hacking groups that have been behind some of the biggest crypto hacks since the beginning of the year. I mean, you can verify that, right? You can see that funds were taken in hacks and then sent directly to the application. Now you can't always see where they were withdrawn from. Okay, so now that's of course going to start leading people towards a legal, moral, ethical questions of because you created something that can be used for people to misuse it. Does that mean that the thing itself should be banned? Now, of course, that's kind of the direction that looks like the legislation is. Well, I say the legislation, but the action here is implying. Okay. Now the next question is, you as a developer, can you are you now to be held responsible just for either creating or contributing to something like this? Okay, so now I want to kind of bring this back to developers who are. There's a lot of people are gonna be watching this, and be like, hey, I'm a blockchain developer. Am I just gonna get like thrown in jail for putting code out there onto the mainnet? It's a natural question that that's going to jump in people's mind for this. So the short answer is, it depends. The short answer is probably not. Probably not. All right. I know it's not even a very comforting answer, but let me break that down even further. Like, first of all, use common sense. Okay. At this point, if we know that a mixer is being sanctioned by the U.S. Treasury, like, don't fork Tornado Cash and put it on the mainnet. Like, that's pretty obvious, right? Don't even fork it and put it on a testnet. Like, that's pretty self-explanatory, right? The other thing is, we've always kind of had certain things that blockchain developers are capable of doing that are off limits to lots of people, right? Like, for example, most likely if you were to create your own cryptocurrency and actually put it out there on the mainnet and like start trading it, like, you're probably in violation of securities laws. So, I've been very upfront about that on my channel. Like, it's not necessarily just completely safe for developers to create their own cryptocurrencies and put them out there and start trading them, right? Like, there's always been the risk of that. So there's always been things that you can do as a blockchain developer that probably are going to be looked upon unfavorably and could get you into trouble long term. Now, that being said, there's lots of things that are not are clearly okay to do. And the other thing is, there's a difference also, especially let's say you're working in a blockchain job, right? I'm no legal expert, but sort of the rules that I play by in many cases, and there's always going to be a difference in. So the reason I bring this up is if there's a question in your mind, let's say you work at a blockchain job for a company, there's a difference in. Again, not a legal expert, but this is sort of my understanding of the situation and sort of the rules I play by, is that, if you're kind of uncertain about some things, like, there's a difference between building something and like running something. So if you were working, for a company that created something and there's like a question mark in your mind, like, a lot of the liability is going to fall on the people who are operating the thing itself, not necessarily the people that they hired to create it. Now, that being said, like, if you're working on something that you're like, hey, this is clearly probably going to get us in trouble, then of course, that's, you probably want to be err on the side of caution in that regard. But if you just have this general sense of like, oh, I'm scared about what's going to happen to blockchain developers because they like arrested somebody who, at least with the limited information we have now, we think is because they created Tornado or worked on Tornado Cash, then I don't think you have too much to worry about. Just tying back to your general blockchain development, sentiment, right? So that's what I have to say about that. Now, one thing I do want to bring up is this sanction that happened on Tornado Cash itself is the first time that we've seen. I've seen this floating around, and I haven't totally verified whether this is true or not. But let's just take it at face value and say it is true, that the Tornado Cash sanction is the first time that we've seen a piece of code, all right, sanctioned, all right, by government, which is a historical precedent. And we could see this type of thing happen with other crypto projects. Okay, now another thing that is also popping up is we're seeing people sort of push back on this and sort of fight the sanctions. So we'll see if we get any ground on that. Okay, I did see this pop up on Twitter. I'll read this thread. This is from Antonio, who's the founder of DYDX. Here, let's just pull it up. So this week is an important technology. I think there's just a typo here. This week was important. A technology was sanctioned. Today, a developer of open source software is arrested for contents of that software. Assuming that that's the actual reason, right? We don't have full knowledge of exactly why they were arrested, right? We're just assuming that it was because they contributed to Tornado Cash. So anyways, that's it. That's the line. We need to take a stand on this. That should be a legal attack on freedom. So again, just reading his opinions here. Tornado Cash's team was not some shady team, as far as I know. They're quality founders who were represented by some of the better crypto lawyers and tried to do the right thing. So their contracts were decentralized, no backdoors, all right? So like no admin keys. They didn't take revenue, and they put Chainalysis compliance detection on their front end despite community flaming them for it. Again, so what is that? So basically Chainalysis is a blockchain analytics company who is like, been pretty instrumental in tracing down hackers. Like when people went and did some of the biggest hacks in the crypto space, like Chainalysis is pretty responsible for helping, bring them to, track them down basically. And so Chainalysis has some compliance software, and they hosted it in their front end. Okay, now that's the front end. That's what normies are going to use. Crypto normies who have a MetaMask wallet and might move things around. Of course, the blockchain part of it. The smart contracts is just open, so really sophisticated people can write their own scripts, run their own nodes to interact with Tornado Cash, and it'd be very, very, very hard to trace where that's coming from in terms of like an IP address or something like that. So, so despite all of this, their technology was sanctioned, and they were arrested with no advance warning. So again, as far as we can tell, we don't exactly know how true this is, but let's just wait and see. So no engagement, no build it this way, just literally straight to jail. Sadly, not the meme sense. It's critical that we, as the entire crypto space come together, unified message to policymakers and the public. We must educate them that we're building is fundamentally new and different. This is why policy advocacy and public perception is so important. Anyways, there's more to this. I'll put a link to the thread, but I think it's interesting. So one possible outcome of this is essentially like, I saw some people saying like, hey, I used Tornado Cash, I deposited money into it, and it's been sitting in Tornado Cash, and then this sanction happened, and it's like, now you can't withdraw it. You know what I mean? So one possibility here would have been basically, announcing and like basically saying this is going to happen in 30 days or something. But and then again, you could have hacks like basically just go rampant for 30 days during that time, almost like the purge before it goes into effect. Somebody says here, can they actually stop an application? Now here's the thing, it's true, like this app is now on Ethereum, and anybody who can interact with Ethereum smart contracts directly, like there's nothing you can really do to stop that application from being used. Now of course you can arrest people who use the application. You can you can do a lot of different things, okay, but you can't actually take the application down, because the smart contracts are permanent on the blockchain. Now it depends on the application, okay. Let's say it had admin keys, okay. Let's say that it had certain backdoors or something, then you could potentially modify it. But just on basic smart contracts that are immutable, you can't just take them down. So Adam says he lost 10 million in Tornado Cash. That's there. He swears. Let's see here. Code under arrest. So Arrows asks, ZK snarks equals illegal? No, not necessarily. Okay, so it does look like we have, it looks like on Twitter now we do just have identity of the developer who was arrested. So this just came out while we were still live. So somebody says, so somebody says, I saw a tweet, can you go to jail as a knife maker because someone used this to kill another person? Yeah, I mean, so that's what I was saying before. There's going to be this big, like, ethical, legal, moral debate about, like, the thing itself. Like, you created something that can be used for legitimate purposes, like to preserve privacy, but also can be used for bad purposes of, you know, money laundering, theft, all that type of stuff, right? So is it, you know, that's always the classic debate is should you ban the thing? Should you call the thing bad because it can be used for bad? So it says Tornado Cash's code, so how can government sanctioned code or new site will be up tomorrow? And another big question this, you know, raises is, you know, we've seen this where essentially we've seen attacks where, I say attack, we've seen these instances where somebody's just sending Tornado Cash ETH to major known addresses, okay? So the whole idea here was that there's these sanctioned addresses that are associated with Tornado Cash, and like if you own a wallet, you're not supposed to be able to like have any interaction with these. There's a lot of gray language in the sanctioned, in the release about the sanctions. Okay, and then so you have these people, because the thing about Tornado Cash is you can withdraw to any wallet. Okay, so we saw somebody who was taking 0.1 ETH from Tornado and sending them to big wallets. Like Jimmy Fallon, all right, Shaq, you know, Brian Armstrong, Beeple, you know, all these people. And it's like, okay, so what do you do about that? Right? Are these people now in trouble? So we'll see how this story continues to develop. I want to see, you know, what comes out if this was if we have essentially justification for the detainment and arrest from, if it's just for writing the code, okay, if it's from some other reasons on top of that, or even just combined with that. We'll have to wait and see here. But the prevailing sentiment that I'm seeing float around social media right now is, you know, welcome to the war on code, all right, the war on crypto. So we'll see where this goes. This could be a first of you know, many bumps in the road, but I think it'd be interesting to see what happens. All right, everybody, that's all I got today. As always, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. The latest videos out, so the more people learn about blockchain. And, you know, if you're as fast at this technology as I am, you want to get your hands dirty, how can you get started today? Definitely go to my YouTube homepage. I just dropped a brand new video on a 4-hour Solidity course, okay? That's going to show you how to build, you know, how to work with DeFi, okay, how to work with flash loans, hacking smart contracts, NFTs, and so much more, okay? You definitely don't want to miss this one. Go to my YouTube homepage, go to that playlist of free blockchain development courses. If you like that video, you want to take the next step, or hey, maybe you'll take a massive shortcut entirely, action and master blockchain step-by-step start to finish over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. You know, you don't have to be an expert to get started today. Help people with zero coding experience become real-world blockchain developers in a matter of months. So that's all I've got. Until next time.